Welcome to Stars Launch Pod, where we chat with innovators who are overcoming challenges, pushing boundaries, and collaborating to make space more accessible and sustainable for humanity, one launch at a time.
It's one small step for man.
Here's your host, Susan Wise.
Welcome to Stars Launch Pod, space, technology, and research sciences, brought to you by starsciences.org, where we connect, collaborate, and accelerate. My name is Susan Wise. I'm your host, and joining me is Eric Bond, Head of Sales and Marketing at Fisher Space Pen. Oh, we've all heard of a Fisher Space Pen.
Yep. We're glad to be here. I'm excited to chat with you and tell a little bit about our story and launch the pod, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to hear more about what you do and about, the Space Pen and what you're currently working on to help further the space industry.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of people watching this show, this podcast, know about Fisher Space Pen. Just to give a quick history. It's been around since 1948. We were a pen company before we were the space pen company. In 1968, we actually invented the sealed and pressurized ink cartridge, which allows the pens to write anywhere without gravity. So we've been on every manned flight, every manned space mission since then. We've been just a big part of that aerospace and environment opportunity since we can remember, really. And the next steps, I would say, space is becoming more and more relevant in everyday life, in every situation. We unfortunately are going to have to expand and become multi-planetary species at some point. And hopefully a Fisher Space Pen can be a part of that.
I heard recently that Artemis 2 officially is going to go in February 2026. So that's exciting, and hopefully that they'll be on board.
That there will be Fisher Space Pens on board as well. Yep, we were on the first one, we were on all of them, and we'll be on that one as well.
Do you have, looking back over your story, do you have maybe an aha moment that you'd like to share when you were just like, yes, that was it?
The aha moment for the company was likely when we invented the pen, because we were around for 20 years before space was even an option. So just that, and again, I'd love to say I was the brainiac that came up with the sealed and pressurized ink cartridge, but I wasn't even born yet. But that was likely the aha or the pedestal moment for Fisher. And then I think as we've expanded, as we've grown, again, space has just become more and more relevant to where I think we're getting more aha moments every step of the way. And every time we talk about the future and where we're headed. As for my career, one of the things that I really like talking about, or my aha moment or breakthrough moment that I like to explain to people when it comes to Fisher Space Pen, is the space race. So back when everything was happening, and there's always like this analogy or metaphor of like, the Russians just took pencils up and that worked just fine. Why did we invest all this money to make pens if we could have brought pencils? And it's a really good analogy of keeping things short and simple and sweet. But the reality of it is pencils will work in space, but they are not necessarily the best option because they're hazardous, right? When
True.
you write with them, the graphite, the lead will splinter off, and that's also flammable. If you sharpen a pencil in space, you have all these pencil shavings floating around, getting in astronauts' eyes. So yes, the pencil could be used, but it wasn't a reliable, or let's just say non-hazardous option. So my aha moment was knowing that our pen, before iPads and computers existed and pencils weren't really a good option, was the breakthrough thing for us to be able to record space history. So that's kind of like the legacy of our brand, and where we've been from then to now. The history and legacy is so strong, and it's so exciting to talk about.
So when I think about the Space Pen, I think about one specifically, but don't you have a whole range of different pens that use this zero gravity technology?
Yeah, so uniquely enough, every single one of our pens that we sell has the zero gravity capability. And this is kind of another aha moment, I would say, as well, is a lot of people are like, oh, like you have this pen, and then you have this pen, and then you have this pen. Which one can write in space? And ironically, all of them can write in space because it's not the pen or the exterior that makes it unique. It's the inside, the sealed and pressurized ink cartridge that allows it to write in space. Now, this pen is actually the one that still goes to space. This is the AG7.
Uh-huh.
This is the one you'll see in the astronauts' hands and things like that. It has a nice little, bolt action release capability.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the one that goes in space. And as I mentioned, all of our pens come with that patented ink cartridge, which is the reason these are going to be able to write in space. So every single pen, we have hundreds of them, are going to have that same capability, writing underwater, writing in space, and writing anywhere and going everywhere with you.
But do they float?
The full metal one's probably not.
Only when they're in space, right?
Oh, yeah, only when they're in space. That's right.
Now, do they have, is it black ink, blue ink, both? You have options?
Options. You can do fine, you can do regular, you can do bold, you can do, we have 7 different colors: blue, black, red, green, purple,
Wow.
maroon, and I'm missing one. Then there's another color in there somewhere.
Is it, when you talk about the bold, does it give you the sense of like when you write with, say, a gel pen?
Yeah, so one of the big differences, and this is another unique thing about our ink and our cartridge, is we use thixotropic viscoelastic ink. And ultimately what that means is once the pen, because it's a ballpoint pen.
Right.
So once you put the pressure on the surface, that actually triggers the ink, the sealed ink, to push the mechanism to push the ink out.
Okay.
And the thixotropic ink allows it to immediately harden, which makes this also a left-handed person's
So you
writing
don't
dream. So when
smear.
you're writing left-handed, you're not
Right.
smearing. And that's why I can write underwater, because it immediately is going to harden when it gets released from the ballpoint pressure.
Wow.
But yeah, the bold, it gives you the bold. I would say our normal ink, since it's ballpoint, is more realistic to bold. The bold is very bold. But our fine point tends to be a really, really a happy medium for people that are used to writing with gel.
Mm-hmm.
And it tends to, appear really nicely on paper
I want
as
to
well.
try that. So
Yeah.
during all of this, I'm sure you've had challenges. Does a big challenge come to mind? And if so, how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I would say, ironically, the challenges in today's world is we have a really awesome, historical, impactful product that has made a difference in the entire world. The expansion of space, exploration. We have all of this amazing history, but we're a pen company that not a lot of people know about.
Mm-hmm.
People know the story and space and the pen story and all that stuff, but a lot of times it doesn't come back to Fisher Space Pen and the opportunity to grow from there. So I would say right now our biggest dilemma is we have this amazing brand, amazing story, amazing legacy. We just need to get it out to the mass population. So there's that growth opportunity for us to grow and everyone to have a reliable writing pen.
I think you're absolutely onto that, because I knew about the space pen, but I didn't realize that it was still available and still being used. So I think that's true. Got to tell everybody about it.
If we could spend 2 minutes with every single person on the planet would have a Fisher Space Pen. Unfortunately, 2 minutes of every single person's time is not realistic. So we're trying to explode our marketing going into 2026. And we're a relatively vintage brand,
Mhm.
right? We've been around since 1948 and, times have changed. So opportunity to market to people and grow and be modern. We're trying to modernize the brand,
Mhm.
not necessarily the product, but the brand, so that it's going to be accessible to more
Right.
people.
Because if the product works, you don't need to go changing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, we have the opposite problem right now. Usually it's the chicken or the egg, and it's like, well, we have a great product, but no story.
Right.
That's how a lot of brands start. And we're the opposite, where we have a great product and a great story. We just need to get it out to the masses. So
What one piece of advice would you like to share with our listeners today?
that's a good question. I'm sure everyone watching this station and this channel is wildly more intelligent and smarter than me. But if I were to give a piece of my own personal advice, it would just be, failing to plan is planning to fail. So always have a plan, always be prepared, always try and understand where you're going and have a positive outlook on that opportunity. Nice
have a
little
pen.
zinger that yeah, and buy a Fisher Space Pen. And then the last thing I'll say is a nice little zinger we're saying is the sky is never the limit, right? So for Fisher, space was never the limit. The sky was never the limit. So shoot for the stars and see where you land.
Okay, and we'll find these pretty much anywhere, right?
We're everywhere, spacepen.com if you want to go directly to the source. But you can find us at REI. You can find us at a lot of, depot stores, Office Depot, things like that. You can find us on Amazon. So we're out there, we're in the mix, and we're hoping to just continue to get that growth and that momentum moving into 2026.
All right, before we wrap up, Eric, I always like to ask folks if they have a past or present passion project, something that you want to mention.
Ooh. Past or present. This is going to sound kind of cheeky, but one thing I really enjoy is game shows. So one of my present projects is trying to get on game shows.
Really?
Yeah. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh.
So, I've applied to a couple and we'll see what happens. But that's kind of like a little side passion project is find opportunities. Because I'm always the guy that's sitting on the couch watching the shows and I'm like, no, don't do that.
I know the answer.
I could have done that. Exactly. Oh, I knew that. So that's kind of like, a little side project. You know what happened? I was watching Survivor a couple years ago and I was like, man, I feel like I could be on this show and do pretty good. So part of that project is just continually applying to those and seeing where it takes me.
I love it.
So,
That's great. Thank you so much, Eric, for sharing your story with us and just reminding us how, the great history and it's a great product and time to revisit that.
I appreciate it, Susan. Thank you so much.
All right. Eric Bond, Head of Sales and Marketing at Fisher Space Pen. Make sure and get yours. Now, be sure and join us where we connect, collaborate, and accelerate. We'd like to invite you to join starsciences.org to receive a free 1-year membership. Just enter the promo code FRIENDS321. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave us a review and subscribe. So until next time, keep looking up.
Don't miss an episode. Subscribe on your favorite streaming platform. Watch us on YouTube and follow us on social media. Stars Launch Pod, propelling us forward, one launch at a time.